Hello and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am your caster for this evening. I am the Crushinator, and tonight I am bringing you a matchup that was a little bit weird, but we got it figured out. It's actually second place Cool Cats and Kittens versus third place Artemis. There was a bit of a tiebreaker setup that I didn't quite catch, so I've actually got to update my title here to reflect the proper standings. There we go. Okay, so everything's a little bit jumbled, but that's okay. These things happen. Cool Cats and Kittens, second place. Artemis, third place. Now, let me confuse you even further by taking you to the tail of the tape where I set it up the other way around. So we're going to see on this screen, it's actually flipped, but I've got to keep it like this for now because the stats are on the correct sides. Artemis, coming into tonight's matchup, actually in third place, not second, but they were still 9 wins and 3 losses on the match record, 19 and 7 on the map records. Best maps so far in the season, Infernal Shrines at 5 wins and 1 loss, Tomb of the Spider Queen 4 and 1. Their best heroes thus far have been Vala at 8-0, Mephisto 7-0, and ETC at 8-1. Cool Cats and Kittens actually second place, coming into tonight's matchup at 8 match wins and 4 losses, 20 map wins and 9 losses. Their best maps so far this season have been Battlefield of Eternity at 4-1 and Cursed Hollow at 4-1. Best heroes, these guys play a lot of the same heroes a lot of the time. It's Anduin at 14 wins and 4 losses this season. Li Ming is at 12-3 and Mal'Ganis at 8-1. Now, for the sake of overlays and for the sake of getting these teams on the correct side, I've got to do this. Boom. Cool Cats and Kittens is going to be the blue team tonight. Artemis is going to be the red team. Okay, I think we've got all the weirdness figured out. Oh, there's one thing I forgot. I got to show you the bracket. Tail of the tape. Okay, we don't have to worry about this part, but we go over to the bracket. This is actually the first round of Division D West. D West is a smaller division. A West and D West in the Nexus Gaming Series were smaller divisions this year. Only 4 teams making it to the playoffs on that side. So this is actually the first round here. The winner of this series will face either Team Rainbow Strike Go, who was in the first seed, or Choo Choo Boys in the 4th seed. That match is actually going on right now. They're both happening at exactly the same time. So, we're getting ready here for game number 1. The lobby is almost ready to go. Let them know that I'm ready. Cool. All right, so looking at these two teams, we could have some spicy drafts coming out here. If I take a look at Cool Cats and Kittens, they've played Cho'Gall 7 times so far this season. Actually, the second most played tank for Cool Cats and Kittens is Cho. That is something that I have yet to see in all the series I've cast so far. This is definitely the most interesting research I've done. Artemis, on the other hand, playing a lot of the same heroes. You saw those 18 games on Anduin. Whew. Oh wait, no, that was the other side too. Still, a little more standard coming out from Artemis. Anduin will be a more contested healer. It was played 18 times by Cool Cats and Kittens. I think Artemis still played him 12 times throughout the season, so well, it'll be interesting to see whether they choose to ban that away or if they really prioritize that Anduin. But we should be getting into the draft here shortly. Looks like the teams are having a slight technical difficulty. Shouldn't be too long for that. As I go ahead, I'll take this moment to make sure that my players are all entered into my little sheet here. Cathel there. Dark Horse 7, Sever Knight, honestly, Ashcan. Alright, everyone is there. Thank you much for the follows from our players tonight. Should be getting this started shortly. Just got to get through a small little hiccup. Now that we have a moment, let me check and see what this tiebreaker was about, because these teams actually did have to come down to a tiebreaker to decide the 2 and 3 seed. So I want to see how we ended up there. D West. There we go. So both teams had 27 points at the end of the season. I believe by tiebreaker rules it goes then to heads-up play and then map wins, if I recall. But Cool Cats and Kittens did have one more map win through the season. So that could be where this tiebreaker was settled. Let me just double check here, because I'm interested and we have time. Tiebreaker, team with the most points, team with the highest regular season map score. So it isn't actually in head-to-head matches against other tied teams. So were they actually tied in that metric as well? Because it does go to the head-to-head first. That'd be crazy. Usually these tiebreakers don't go past the first criteria. Yeah, it looks like they did. That's pretty crazy. So it did end up going to total map wins. And that's how we got to the standings we are at. So I'm going to let them know. It looks like their technical difficulty is through. They're ready to go. So I am ready to bring you over to the map screen to let you know how we started things out. Cool Cats and Kittens did choose first pick and banned away Alterac Pass and Sky Temple, 2 maps they have actually yet to play at all this season. Artemis choosing to ban away Volskaya Foundry and Dragonshire, and Tomb of the Spider Queen is our map number 1. Let's get into the draft here and see how these things go. Tomb of the Spider Queen, Cool Cats and Kittens are 2 and 2 on this map currently in the season. Artemis is 4 and 1, so they've had a little bit more success on this map. Interested to see what the opening bans are going to be. There's a lot of power picks on both of these teams, and it's going to be the Mephisto ban right off the bat from Cool Cats and Kittens. Definitely one to look out for. Very strong hero coming out from Ashcan. We'll see what Artemis has in response. They're going to ban away the Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis, one of the most played tanks for Cool Cats and Kittens, outside of Cho'Gall, of course. So wanting to get rid of that old regular Mal'Ganis. Cassia, next to be banned away. I don't see a lot of Cassia in the play history, but Cassia is just very, very strong in this patch. I'm expecting a Cassia nerf soon, if the forums and the hubbub amongst the heroes' discords is to be believed. Very, very strong hero. Interested to see if we'll see a Tassadar ban here. Tassadar kind of up in that echelon. It's actually going to be the Johanna ban. Hard to go wrong with the Johanna, especially here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, one of the premier wave clear tanks. So that gives Anduin right over to Cool Cats and Kittens. They control that most wanted healer for both of these teams. Usually you don't see an Anduin in that first pick position, but considering the history of these two teams, it's honestly not all that surprising. Looking at Artemis, they're going to grab the ETC, wanting to snap that up while only Johanna is banned. Johanna ETC kind of recognized as the 2 top-tier tanks right now, since Mei is currently globally banned in the Nexus Gaming series. And it's going to be paired up with Raynor. Raynor, the most played hero this season for Dark Horse, so nothing too out of the ordinary there. Cool Cats and Kittens looking to follow this up. Raynor was one of their most played heroes. There's a lot of shared heroes on these two teams. Descolada is actually going to grab a Muradin in the first rotation. Cathal will grab the Li Ming. Interesting to see a Muradin so highly prioritized here. Usually that's not something that ends up getting banned away. But it is something that Descolada has played more than a couple times this season, so possibly just trying to make sure that he gets a tank that they're comfortable with. Third ban here. It's going to be Ragnaros. These teams are doing a very, very good job of scouting each other. Rag, the most played hero of Beowulf. So really not wanting to let the comfort picks go through are either of these teams. So I hurriedly update my hero pools here. There we go. Third ban coming out here for Cool Cats and Kittens. We see ETC and Raynor picked up, and it's going to be the Deckard ban. Deckard also very, very strong on this current patch. Not wanting to see Old Man Kane paired with that ETC stun value. Artemis, taking a look at their options here. Could see a Kael'thas come out. That is one that they have chosen to play a lot in the past. With Deckard banned away, Tyrande and Ana are the next most played healers. It is going to be Tyrande Kael'thas, so looking for that very classic combo. This actually looks almost like a total beta comp here. With ETC, Raynor, Kael'thas, Tyrande. They could have played this comp 4 years ago. Very, very old synergy here. Old Faithful coming out from Artemis. Final two picks here for Cool Cats and Kittens. They need that offlaner. With Ragnaros gone, it's actually going to be a Yrel and a Tychus coming out from Gork. Tychus, not one that we see an awful lot, but is very effective at tank burning, and ETC is a lower health tank than most, so honestly is going to have to be pretty careful with that Tychus matchup. And it's actually going to be a Varian coming out from Evernight. That is a little bit unexpected. So we've got an ETC Varian. I wonder which variation of Varian we're going to be seeing here. I'm expecting a Taunt Varian to come out along with this Tyrande Kael'thas comp, but sometimes you never know. Regardless, we're getting into game number 1 here between Cool Cats and Kittens and Artemis. Let's get into it. All right. Loading in here to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Outside of that Varian, we've got a comp as old as time over on the red side, and we've got a sort of sneaky damage Tychus comp with some great control from the Yrel, Muradin, and Anduin on the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. We'll see what they make of these comps here in game number 1 as we load on in. And here we go. On the left, in the blue, is Cool Cats and Kittens, with Beowulf playing the Yrel. Descolada will be on the Muradin. Gork will be playing that Tychus. Desperado on that ever-sought-after Anduin. And Cathal on the Li Ming. On the right, in the red, is Artemis, with Evernight on the Varian, honestly playing ETC. Dark Horse on the Raynor. Ashkan on the Kael'thas. And Seven playing the Tyrande. Here we go, Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is a fog map here on the current anomaly, which means heroes going into the smoke vents are going to gain stealth after 1.5 seconds. As I quickly reconnect There we go. Only a couple lost frames. Not too bad at all. We do see, honestly, and Dark Horse have picked up that stealth. Beowulf going in for the wave clear, getting stunned out by ETC. That's a whole lot of damage going out onto our two tanky front lines. With the wave cleared, we're going to see Varian head on to the bottom lane. Looks like Dark Horse could be in trouble here. Beowulf was lurking in the top, using that Rainer E to stay alive there. Muradin is actually going to cover the bottom lane for the moment. An interesting matchup there, Muradin versus Varian, as both of these teams trying to get their rotations in check. Muradin, of course, can just leave combat whenever he chooses and get that extra trait healing, so not too much threat from the Varian, but Varian could be in trouble here, as Gork and Cathal trying to go in for the quick pick, but Evernight, being cautious, avoids that gank. Raynor and Tyrande are going to work on this Bruiser camp very early, pretty much as soon as it becomes available here. Both teams about even on XP. Cool Cats and Kittens is very, very aggressive on these rotations, looking for as much value as possible. Honestly, could be in a bit of trouble, but uses that armor and the wall to get on out of there. Varian, once again, possibly the target of a gank. Some very interesting rotations coming out here from the higher seeded team here, as the rest of Artemis is looking to get ahead on these minion rotations. Dark Horse once again in trouble, getting jumped on by Yrel, and there goes first blood onto Raynor. Tyrande will be next to fall. The aggression finally paying off here for Cool Cats and Kittens, as they get the kills that they need in order to get a free clear onto this Bruiser camp. We see Muradin once again just living his best life here in the bottom lane. Level 4 is online. We do see the taunt from Varian coming out. As expected, they want to find those rotational ganks. So we could see the tides change in terms of aggressive rotations, but here comes the rest. Cool Cats and Kittens, they're going to skip right on by this Varian and go straight to the bottom siege camp. Artemis, seeing this, is going to take the opportunity to drop those gems. 21 going off that ETC. Bottom camp is taken by Cool Cats and Kittens. Beowulf could be in a bit of trouble here, but with Dauntless picked up by Yrel, that extra 50 physical armor is going to make Yrel very hard to gank, but not ETC. ETC goes down here in the mid lane. Varian trying to get a bit of counter damage onto Gork. The rest of Artemis will have to retreat. Now with this siege camp pushing in the bottom lane, Varian not exactly known for his wave clear, may need a little bit of help from the rest of the squad. Beowulf using that Dauntless extra armor to pretty much negate the majority of Raynor's damage. Looking at the XP, we do see a hero lead coming out for Cool Cats and Kittens, and a slight minion lead as well. Definitely a strong start for the blue team. Evernight doing the best they can to take out this siege camp before it takes out too much more of this wall. Doing their best to control this point. Yrel going straight into the rest of the team. No fear at all. Honestly, getting bopped back. A huge triple stun there by Tyrande. And the Kael'thas bombs really spreading out there. Very nice counter engage by Artemis. Dark Horse once again could be in trouble here. Double jumped by Yrel and Muradin, and there goes Raynor. This leap combo coming out from Cool Cats and Kittens means that Raynor is going to have to be extra careful. Not going to be able to venture out too far versus this very aggressive team. The blue web weavers have arrived, both teams on level 7 for this first objective turn-in. It looks like bottom lane will be the focus for this first objective, as we see Cool Cats and Kittens committing 4 to the bottom lane. But a slide here onto Yrel could be the end of Beowulf. That extra Dauntless armor is not going to be enough versus the full 5-man rotation from Artemis. So they get the kill. They're going to get a bit of an experience lead here, as all the members of Cool Cats and Kittens are committed to this bottom lane and will be missing out on the soak in those top 2 lanes. But trying to make up for it in value by starting the building XP lead, starting that passive XP advantage. Looks like the bottom fort will be falling. The other two lanes already cleaned up. Yrel now rejoining the battle. Looks like the minion XP is now on the favor of Artemis. Very nice job on the gank there. Both teams really looking for Tychus in the mid lane. Raynor really getting softened up by Cathal there. Gonna have to get back to the wall. This bottom Webweaver is actually still pushing. Artemis now retreating back to clear this up as it's pushed all the way to the keep wall in the bottom lane. Sieging down the front wall is Cool Cats and Kittens with that extended Li Ming poke. Yrel trying to force back Dark Horse here in the top lane. Interesting to see Cool Cats and Kittens really favoring the pressure in the bottom lane here. Beowulf could be in trouble once again. Getting this knockback onto Varian, but so many more follow-up stuns, and there goes Yrel. Cool Cats and Kittens will pick up this bottom camp, but will lose Yrel in the process. And it looks like Artemis will have enough for a possible turn-in here. Tyrande actually starting up this boss. An interesting play here. Will Cool Cats and Kittens sniff this out, or will they concede this boss? Level 10s are here for Cool Cats and Kittens. It looks like they may be rotating up here. They do get the red Webweaver turn-in. Here comes Descolada. Is he going to be there in time? Gets knocked away by ETC, and that is going to be a sneaky little boss pickup for Artemis, as well as heroic abilities. A very nice and aggressive play by Artemis gets them a big macro advantage here. Trying to pressure in alongside this boss. This keep wall goes down to the Hyperion, and the attention is now turned to the fort. A big taunt under the boss, but enough protect from Anduin saves Yrel for now. Mosh pit onto 3 by Honestly gets interrupted, but Anduin still going down. A very nice engage there by Artemis. They still have a bit of health on this boss and a lot of health left on this objective. They may be pushing for keep wall here. The disintegration beam from Li Ming is going to deal a ton of damage, take out that boss, and Artemis is going to have to retreat. Beowulf doing their best to ward away this Artemis push, but now they're committing as 5 onto this mid fort, and there's not a lot that the Cool Cats and Kittens can do about it here. Really a tremendous turn here by Artemis. Cool Cats and Kittens really owned the early game, but now the structure lead goes over to Artemis. Both teams resetting now. Artemis does have another turn-in available. Still another 25 gems needed for Cool Cats and Kittens. We do have a turn-in attempt. A couple of gems turned in the bottom lane. Looking to control the top lane are both of these teams. But without a fort, Cool Cats and Kittens is in a bit of trouble. A double, triple stun onto Descolada. Anduin with the save, but the Pyroblast is on the chase. That Muradin health pool, though, just too much for the Pyroblast from Kael'thas. Using that space to try to turn in is Artemis. ETC is the gem holder. It's going to have to find an opportunity to turn in. Going to rotate down to the bottom turn-in. We'll see if Yrel can get the interrupt here. Varian with the taunt, trying to buy time for ETC, and does get the red Webweaver phase. Raynor is back here, trying to get the Bruiser camp to push alongside this objective. Very nice job of picking that up before ETC started that turn-in. Varian trying to clear out the bottom lane and let this Webweaver push on up. Bottom fort is the only fort remaining for Cool Cats and Kittens. We have a Bruiser camp stacked with the objective here in the mid lane. A big stun onto ETC. The Tyrande follow-up not finding Descolada, and it looks like Cool Cats and Kittens will have to retreat to this keep wall and try to defend back there. Varian now coming up to join Artemis, as we see level 13 coming in for Artemis, as well as Cool Cats and Kittens. Hyperion is committed onto this wall. That's going to burn this down a lot faster. Muradin now with that piercing Stormbolt. That's going to be very important on these engages. Objective still pretty healthy here, but the Bruiser camp is gone, which means the spell armor is gone, so those Li Ming orbs are going to hurt that much more. Disintegration Beam really doing a great job on wave clearing. It's mostly saving this keep, losing about 20-25% health on that. Looks like the objective will be taking this bottom keep for free, as the rest of Cool Cats and Kittens is going to go try to save this top keep. But here comes Artemis. Could they be looking for an engage here? Nope, the wave clear just too strong on Cool Cats and Kittens. Evernight finding in the bush. Here comes the taunt follow-ups. Is that going to be enough for Beowulf? No, manages to get the Ardent Defender off, and Anduin with the save. Pyroblast is cancelled by Ashkan. Dark Horse could be in trouble once again, stunned out by Muradin. Tychus is using that ult to try to knock down Raynor, but Raynor managing to back out. Beowulf trapping Varian in the pit there. Now Beowulf could be in trouble here. Yrel going down to the Pyroblast. Honestly did catch Cathal in a mosh pit, but gets interrupted out. And that is a 1-for-1 for both of these teams. Varian and Yrel going down in that fight. Gork could be in trouble here, managing to mount up, but does get interrupted by Honestly. Does Gork have another dash? Trying to get away here, actually moving onto Artemis' side of the map. Gork actually is saved by the ult of Anduin, but is interrupted by Tyrande, and there goes the Tychus. The mad chase is over. Very nicely done by Artemis. Taking a look at these lanes, very, very pushed in for the red team. Taking a look real quick at the hero damage. Li Ming topping the charts for Cool Cats and Kittens. And Kael'thas doing the same for Artemis. It looks like we've got another boss call coming in from Artemis. Tychus not yet on the field, so there's not a lot Cool Cats and Kittens are going to be able to do about this. Boss once again going over to Artemis. Knowing that this is happening, they're going to pick up Cool Cats and Kittens, that is going to pick up a bruiser camp in the mid lane to try to divert the attention of Artemis. And it looks like it's going to do the trick, as we're going to have a team fight around this bottom turn-in point. 40 gems here on the side of Muradin. Can they get the interrupt? Looks like no. Those gems will be turned in by Cool Cats and Kittens. Dark Horse going straight up in the front. That could be trouble. Muradin does land the stun. The leap is committed. The taunt is there. Double stun is out, but Avatar was able to be popped. Anduin once again with the save. The Pyroblast is on the way. Will the Avatar be up for long enough? It looks like yes, it will absorb the Pyroblast. Muradin once again getting away there. 16s are here for Artemis, but hot on their heels is Cool Cats and Kittens, as we see the boss did take out the top keep. That team fight going on for long enough that Cool Cats and Kittens was not able to go up and clear that boss, as we see it fall on the shores of the core. Both teams now in a position to turn in. Artemis working on these two camps, wanting to get them pushing, but Cool Cats and Kittens taking the opportunity to turn in the top lane. There's going to be a blue web weaver phase countering these camps. Though with the state of these waves, there's not a whole lot for these web weavers to do. They're going to spawn pretty close on the side of Cool Cats and Kittens here and get mostly cleaned up by Artemis. Cool Cats and Kittens definitely in a tough spot here. They're going to have to win a team fight or two to really get these lanes pushing in the right direction. Clearing up this bruiser camp is a definite good start. Looks like they're going to commit to the middle lane to try to get this pushed out. Middle lane is definitely the lane you want to control if you want to control the turn-in points here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Right now, hovering around that mid-top, looking to possibly catch a rotation from Artemis. Here comes Varian. Do they have enough? No, they're not going to commit to fighting in that corridor. The rest of Artemis is coming. We've got a taunt onto Tychus. Is that going to be enough damage? No, slips away, but not from Honestly. The protect coming out from Anduin is there. Pyroblast is committed onto Desperado. Manages to get on out of there with about 300 health. Another nice slide by ETC, catching two, but onto the two highest health targets of Cool Cats and Kittens. Ardent Defender is popped. Evernight is way in there. just charging and taunting and getting those heroic strikes, but Cathal finds Raynor with that big orb. 7 nearly going down as well, but managing to get on out of there. Very nice turn and very nice flank there by Cool Cats and Kittens. And this gives them a chance at regaining the map here. So we see 2 members in the top lane trying to push that out to keep. Tychus trying to catch up this mid lane. They are still 35 gems short of a turn-in, though. So they're going to have to play things slow on that front. Muradin trying to control vision around this turn-in. Artemis does have enough gems for a turn-in, so controlling the sight around these points is going to be very important here for Cool Cats and Kittens. Muradin looking for a possible flank. Beowulf diving straight under that fort. That's going to be a lot of extra minus health from those tower shots. Beowulf getting on out of there. Does not have Ardent Defender for this engagement. That's important to note for Beowulf. Li Ming orbs being sent in. Wave being cleared away, though, by Artemis, so Cool Cats and Kittens will not be able to advance onto this mid-fort. Bit of a stalemate here. Boss is coming up in less than a minute. That will be the next focal point for our 2 teams. Really just wanting to control the turn-in point is Cool Cats and Kittens, and looking to push these side lanes out to possibly access any sort of turn-in is Artemis. They're looking for Beowulf once again. Again, Ardent Protector for Yrel is not available. Will they be able to get out? No, Yrel is going to go down here. Very nicely timed gank by Artemis. Finding the taunt there onto Anduin. There's the Pyroblast once again. But using that big protect is Anduin is going to be just fine. Hyperion committed as well. But with Yrel down, it's going to be very difficult for Cool Cats and Kittens to protect both of these turn-in points from Artemis. Putting out some extra damage onto Muradin. The Avatar did expire. 30 needed to turn in. Varian and Kael'thas will be able to do it, and there it is. Artemis is getting another red Webweaver phase. That top lane that was pushed out was corrected there by the 3 catapults, so this top Webweaver will be pushing in quite a ways. Here comes the rest of Artemis, trying to respond to the top lane. Raynor a little bit behind, though. So these catapults will be cleared out before the Webweavers arrive. Level 20 is here for Artemis, and it's only just about to be level 19 for Cool Cats and Kittens. This is going to be a tough defense, since they do not have the keep available in the top. Cathal trying to get those extra long orbs out onto the back line of Artemis. Here comes the objective, though. Varian coming through the mid lane, looking for a possible flank. Disintegration Beam trying to clear out this objective. Could have to poke from afar. Varian always a threat from the side. There goes the top Webweaver. Descolada trying to get onto Dark Horse once again. The keep in the mid is down. Here comes the next objective. Honestly, not catching anyone with the power slide. But looks like they're going to try to commit onto this bottom keep. There it is. That's 3 keeps down for Artemis. Severnite trying to jump onto the back of Artemis here, but using Yrel catching with the ult. Anduin puts out the ult as well. This teamfight really back and forth. A lot of defenses being used. Kael'thas will be going down here. Beowulf in a lot of trouble from that Raynor damage, but looks like a successful defense coming out here from Cool Cats and Kittens. Very nicely done. Very nicely timed ults there from both Yrel and Anduin. And Artemis will have to settle for this bottom camp and just have to wait for Kael'thas to spawn. I gotta learn that Anduin ult. That's Holy Word Salvation. Not Big Protect Bubble, but Holy Word Salvation. It's been getting a lot of value for Anduin and Cool Cats and Kittens. Artemis now coming around. They do see that the boss is being taken, but with only 4 members, this will be a very difficult defense. There's the double stun from Muradin. Looks like they may be able to chase off this point. Kael'thas is not here yet. This is going to be a true 4v5. Controlling the point is ETC and Varian, though. Getting the bump off, but there is the rest of Cool Cats and Kittens. Sliding back on is, honestly, Li Ming will go down here. This defense is going very well for Artemis. There goes Muradin as well. ETC, though, will be killed in response. The Death Mosh is here! And there goes the rest of Cool Cats and Kittens. An amazing 4-player invade from Artemis steals the boss, and with no keeps left, they are gonna march onto this core. An incredible push from Artemis, incredible grit from Varian and ETC, really controlling that point, committing to that Death Mosh, and they pick up game number 1. GG. A very, very gutsy call coming out from Artemis to go in 4v5 on that boss pit, leveraging that ETC Deathmosh and getting the full wipe. Picking up that boss and ending the game. Very, very nicely done. This game was very back and forth throughout the whole time. It was really Cool Cats and Kittens in the early game, really controlling with those unorthodox rotations. Artemis came storming back in the mid-game with those big slide stun combos, really making Urel pay for those positional mistakes. And honestly, Urel's positioning against those 5 could have been very, very good, using that Dauntless to great effect, but ultimately going down to those full ganks. But in the late game, I thought Cool Cats and Kittens really had something going there. They defended the core, they were putting up good numbers in those team fights, turning things around, making it... That was a good boss call. That was not a poor call coming out from Cool Cats and Kittens. But leveraging that Death Mosh on ETC really turned things around in that fight, and Artemis picks up game number 1. Very nicely done. All right, that is 1-0 for Artemis. We're going to head to the break, and when we come back, I will have game 2 between Cool Cats and Kittens and Artemis. Don't go far. Alrighty. Getting ready here for game number 2 between Cool Cats and Kittens and Artemis. Artemis up 1-0 in this series with that win on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And it looks like we're going to be going to Infernal Shrines for game number 2. This lobby about ready to pop off. Very, very interesting game number 1 there. Very back and forth. Interested to see what the adjustments are going to be on Infernal Shrines. Infernal Shrines, pretty different style map than Tomb of the Spider Queen, I would say. Very much more spread out. We may see a bit more emphasis on double soaking offlaners from our teams here. If we were going to find a Cho'Gall game, I'm not sure Infernal Shrines is the place to do it, though he does get a lot of value in just controlling space on the shrine. But this Cool Cats and Kittens playing 7 times could be that they're ready to bring it out anywhere. Interested to see whether it comes up here in this game. Looks like everyone is ready. I'm going to get this going in just a moment. So let's bring you over to the map screen, give you the recap on where we stand. Cool Cats and Kittens banned away Alterac Pass and Sky Temple. Artemis choosing to ban away Volskaya Foundry and Dragonshire. Artemis took us to Tomb of the Spider Queen for game number 1 and won that game. And Cool Cats and Kittens choosing first pick once again for game number 2. So Infernal Shrines is brought to you by Artemis. Let's get into the draft here and see how this works out. Infernal Shrines, Cool Cats and Kittens, actually 1 and 2 on this map so far this season. And Artemis is 5 and 1, so definitely one that Artemis is very, very familiar with. Mephisto once again being banned away by Cool Cats and Kittens. They do not want to see the Lord of Hatred coming in for Artemis. We'll see if the bans are similar on the side of Artemis. Trying to recall what the bans were last time. I believe we had a Johanna ban. See if that comes through again. Infernal Shrines is a map that is usually rotational, so Johanna can get some work done. They're going to ban the Mal'Ganis, once again, wanting to force them off the Dreadlord. Cool Cats and Kittens is going to ban the Cassio once again. They understand what they don't want to see here in this matchup, and that's just fine. Usually this late in the season, we don't see a lot of change-up in ban strategies. These teams have such a history throughout the season that you know what they're capable of, you know what they want to play. And there it is, the Johanna ban once again. Will it be Anduin first pick snapped by Cool Cats and Kittens, or do they have something else in mind? Anduin did get a lot of value. They're actually going to grab the Ragnaros. That's Beowulf's most played offlaner. Wanting to snap that up before it is banned away. I'm expecting Anduin to now go over to the side of Artemis. They're going to grab the ETC once again before Honestly. And there it is, 7 grabbing that Anduin. And there they go. They're going to take a first rotation Cho'Gall. Usually we see Cho'Gall after the bans, but obviously they had a feeling it might get banned away, so there it is. Cho and Gall hit the field. Ragnaros, a very, very nice pairing with Cho'Gall. Cho'Gall really comes online, I would say, at 16, when that bowling ball starts to silence, and becomes very, very powerful at 20. And one thing Ragnaros is really good at is getting games to level 20. So I'm expecting a Lava Wave to come out from Beowulf to just control those lanes, get as much XP as possible for free, and get this game to level 20 so Cho'Gall can just get some work done. Li Ming banned away by Artemis. Interested to see what they choose to ban. It is going to be the Leoric ban. Leoric, obviously very strong versus Cho'Gall, and one of the actually the most played heroes by Evernight from Artemis. So a little bit of a double whammy there. Interested to see what they're going to pick up to try to get some extra damage onto this Cho'Gall. Greymane and Malthael are classic counters. They're gonna grab them both. They said there's not enough percent damage in the world. We're gonna grab Greymane and Raynor. Or Greymane and Malthael, I should say. I was looking at Raynor over here. Dark Horse played Raynor last game. So, wanting to melt the Cho'Gall as much as possible. They do have a bit of an ult synergy there. Greymane taking as much, half of the remaining health of any target hit by Cursed Bullet, and Last Rites taking half of the missing health bar. Or half of the, what is it, half of the missing health bar? Third of the total health? I can't remember the exact wording on it. But getting both of those off on a target deals a lot of damage, regardless of the health of the target. Cathal is going to actually grab Alarak here, a very nice counter to Malthael. And Desperado is going to grab the Lucio. And in the last pick position, not usually a place we see Tassadar, but there it is. Ashkan will pick up the Tassadar. So two very strong drafts coming out from both of our teams here. We've got the Cho'Gall delay comp versus the percent damage. We'll see how it works out for our two teams. It's Cool Cats and Kittens versus Artemis. Game number 2. Here we go. Alright, loading in here to game number 2. Cool Cats and Kittens bring out the Cho'Gall, pairing it with that Lucio Ragnaros. They want 16 at the very least, but most of all, get this game to the late game and win off that overpowering Cho'Gall might. But will it be enough? versus the Malthael Greymane combo coming out from Artemis. They've got their favored Anduin. They've got their favorite ETC. It's going to be a tough matchup. We're going to see how it goes here. Loading into game number 1. Once again, in the blue on the left is Cool Cats and Kittens, with Beowulf playing Ragnaros, Desperado on Lucio, Des Gork is going to be playing the Cho'Gall, and Cathal will be on Alarak. On the right in the red is Artemis, B-stepping their way once again with Dark Horse playing the Greymane. Xever Knight will be on that Malthael. Ashkan will be on Tassadar. Seven playing the Anduin, and honestly, on the ETC. Here we go. Game number 2. Infernal Shrines. This is a snow map, so you'll see the shields building up for both of our squads. This shield builds while they are out of combat. It is a flat health shield, so it doesn't do more for Cho'Gall or any less for Lucio. It's just a flat number. We're going to see Malthael head straight to the top lane as our teams brawl here in the middle. Cho'Gall trapped by that Tassadar wall. That's going to be a big X factor for Artemis, as there's not a lot that can really slow down that Cho'Gall with those surging fists. But Tassadar wall is one of them. Ragnaros and Malthael will be battling it out in the top lane as the teams rotate between between mid and bot. Camps are about to come out here, so we should see these teams clearing the mid lane and heading onto their siege camp. I'm interested to see whether we're going to have an invasion here from either of these teams. Looks like they're both going to start on their camps. The clear should be in the favor of Artemis. Honestly, it's getting a little itchy. Moving towards that bottom lane, we see Cathal and Des Gork do have enough damage to clear that up. But using this extra time is Artemis to try to work on this bottom camp. The Tassadar wall is already out, but this camp is still alive. Cho'Gall surging on in. Alarak looking to follow up with those extra silences, getting auto attacks onto the point, but Cho'Gall has to back out, and that's trouble for Alarak. There they go. First blood goes over to Artemis. That Lucio healing onto Cho'Gall is going to be a little bit tough in the early going. Artemis is going to have to get as much value as they can in this early game, and it looks like they're going to try to push alongside this camp and get some extra siege damage. One thing Artemis will be able to do with that Malthael is get a faster double soak than Ragnaros is able to provide. So I'm interested to see whether Cool Cats and Kittens tries to do something to interrupt those Malthael rotations. A big slide there onto Desperado. Very nicely timed by Honestly, and there goes Lucio. The Arcane Shrine is spawning in the bottom lane. Ragnaros is having a tough time here versus this double soak Malthael. Gonna have to just survive as best they can. If we take a look at the XP though, a bit of an advantage on the side of Cool Cats and Kittens, though now a hero kill and mercenary advantage going over to Artemis as they pick up their Shaman camp in timing with this objective. Cool Cats and Kittens now doing the same. Beowulf getting bullied away there by Malthael once again, and the rest of Artemis is going to start up this shrine as the Shaman camp is just now taken. For Cool Cats and Kittens. Here they come. They're bringing the whole squad. Ragnaros is coming here as well, so Artemis is going to have to be careful. Surging Fist there by Cho'Gall gets him right into the action. And Gall sending out those spells. It's going to push back Artemis for now. Malthael continuing the double soak here. This is going to be a key to victory for Artemis, is maintaining a level lead and trying to use that to get wins as quickly as possible. There's the slide there onto Cho'Gall. The Tassadar wall is out. Malthael connecting with that percent health damage, and it looks like Artemis will be picking up this first shrine. Level 7s are online as well. In the top lane, this Shaman camp still has to be dealt with by Artemis, or else this wall could be in trouble. Looks like at least one turret will go down before Malthael gets up there for the clear. Arcane Punisher pushing down this fort wall. Just Alarak and Lucio here for the defense, but here comes Cho'Gall. That's most of their wave clear here. They do get the bait of the Punisher over the fort. Cho'Gall getting blasted away. Ragnaros trying their best to save this fort. Will be beaten up, though, by the Punisher, so not a lot of value there from the Molten Core, or not a lot of duration, I should say. Dark Horse taking a lot of damage from that Gall. Ragnaros trying to clear out this Punisher before it takes the fort. It looks like they will be able to do that. First objective is down. Malthael has this wave pushed up to the wall, but with very, very low siege damage is not going to be able to do a lot for these turrets. Alarak is actually looking for a chase here. Getting a lot of damage onto Evernight, but the healing off that wave is going to be enough to get them back on track. Once again, diving right onto Ragnaros is the rest of Artemis, and there goes Rag. Artemis has done a very good job of controlling this bottom camp, and is now over a full level lead ahead in XP. Alarak trying to find that Malthael kill in the mid lane. Definitely going to have a bit more kill pressure than Ragnaros was in that lane. Rag now heading on to the top. The rest of Artemis trying to push down this mid wall. They do have the camp there to help, but here comes Cho'Gall. Try to clear out this wave. Once again, Ragnaros back on the offensive in the top lane. Artemis really bullying around the map right now. Level 10s are available. We do see the Cursed Bullet Last Rites combo as expected. Archon here for the Tassadar. It's going to be a Light Bomb for Anduin this time, though. Wanting to follow up on those stuns and let ETC get that much more value. Honestly, is going to have to trail on out of there, taking a lot of extra poke damage from the fort and from that Gall. We do, of course, see the mosh pit coming out from ETC. 10's still on the way here. Cho'Gall taking a lot of damage here from the Malthael and the Greymane. Greymane Cursed Bullet was not quite available for that gank, so Cho'Gall will manage to escape. Cool Cats and Kittens desperately seeking level 10 here. That will allow Ragnaros to really start getting value. I'm assuming it's going to be a Lava Wave. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Level 10 just about to come online. Gotta see those ults. There it is. Working on the Shaman camp now is Artemis. It is going to be the Lava Wave, as expected for the Ragnaros. Really working to stall this game out as much as possible and let Cho'Gall really come online. Following that up is the Twisting Nether and Hammer of Twilight from the Cho'Gall. Pretty regular stuff there. Ragnaros sniffing out the invade there from Artemis. But here comes the rest of Cool Cats and Kittens. Could there be a big fight over this? Cho'Gall looking to possibly go in, but thinks better of it. Just sending in the abilities. Mid-Shrine is coming up. It is going to be a Mortar Punisher. Cool Cats and Kittens will have to clear out the stolen Shaman camp as well as the regular one that is now pushing down the top lane, which gives Artemis a chance to start on these minions. Ragnaros working on that clear in the top. Cho'Gall trying to clear out that mid wave. Still a full level lead here for Artemis, though not a talent tier advantage anymore. Cho'Gall trying to fend away Malthael there, but Malthael does get the mark out. Honestly, sliding into the back. Desgork avoids the Cursed Bullet, actually. That's a pretty big boon there for Cool Cats and Kittens. Honestly, and Dark Horse taking a ton of damage in the backline there, but Beowulf is experiencing some difficulties there versus the Malthael. Honestly, catching Alarak in that Light Bomb combo from Anduin. There goes Malthael, though. We got a 1-for-1, but there goes Ragnaros. 1-for-2 trade now. Honestly, could be in some trouble, but Cho'Gall very, very low here. Ashkan can do some big damage with those Shock Ray pokes. A good shove by Gall gets Cho'Gall on out of there. Another Punisher coming down the lane for Artemis. Level 13s have arrived. Ragnaros now back on the field is going to be hoping to use that Lava Wave to help control the map. But this Punisher, surging down the mid lane, this is exactly what Artemis needs to do, which is win this game or put it out of reach before level 16 hits. Punisher is baited over the wall. Working on this keep wall is the rest of Artemis. It looks like that's about all they're going to get as this Punisher goes down in the mid lane. Ragnaros looking to control that bottom lane. Another camp invade here coming out from Artemis. Kthal is ready to go with that deadly strike. Dark Horse could be in some trouble here. And there goes Greymane. ETC next to fall. They were not quite quick enough on that camp take there. And they will fall to Cool Cats and Kittens, who is now looking for a camp steal of their own. That is a big, big boon for CCK, as they caught up a lot on those hero kill experience from the level down catch-up. Your catch-up mechanic. Now only a level behind here. They are lacking in minion XP, but that hero XP is starting to make up for it. Looks like Cho'Gall taking that bottom camp. Ragnaros is going to have to go and deal with this bottom lane push. Take a look at the damage here. We see Gall topping the charts there with 32,000 damage, with Tassadar hot on the heels with 26,000. That Q build is really something special coming out from Tassadar, I'll tell you that. Halfway done with that quest, over halfway done now. So we see Ragnaros rejoining the battlefield with the rest of Cool Cats and Kittens. Malthael, gonna have to be careful here. Doesn't have a wall to retreat to. Does mount up, seeing Cool Cats and Kittens off the map. Ragnaros sharking around here, looking for a possible gank. They really want Evernight. A Surging Fist and the Hammer of Twilight does catch. And there goes Malthael. A lot of extra damage. 117 sadism on Alarak currently. The rest of Artemis hoping to get this Shaman camp done before CCK invades, but will they be fast enough? Here comes Alarak. Doesn't really want to stand on that point, but they can see the Shaman camp, but they will get that Anduin. Very, very nicely done there. And they are really starting to turn things around. Level 16 just around the corner now for both of our teams. This really spells trouble for Artemis. They were hoping to be a lot further ahead at this point in the game, and Cho'Gall is going to start turning into a monster. Greymane trying to soak as safely as possible. Wants this wave over on his side of the map. 16s are now here for both of our teams. Shrine in the top lane is going to be a frozen Punisher. Very, very important there. The Rejuveneshka from Lucio. That is very, very important in this comp, as we now have percent healing onto our Cho'Gall. And of course, the Runic Blast Silence is out. So these fights are going to look very different here coming out from Cool Cats and Kittens. Alarak looking for a possible deadly charge engage in the bottom lane, as we are now fighting over the shrine. A big minion advantage for Cool Cats and Kittens, but Artemis gains the position for now. Desgork on that amalgamated Cho'Gall. Ragnaros pushing away Tassadar for now. A big silence there onto Dark Horse, but there's the light bomb. It catches too. A huge mosh pit catching the entirety of Cool Cats and Kittens. Lucio cannot save Cho'Gall. Desperado could be in trouble here. There goes Alarak. Ragnaros down as well. A massive mosh pit from Honestly turns that fight right around. And Artemis looking strong here. Catching up on these minions. Unfortunately, this Punisher is going to be pushing down the most fortified lane of Cool Cats and Kittens. But wow, what a fight there in the top lane. Malthael looking to paint the map red like only Malthael can. It's going to be able to take all three of those camps with relative ease, as the Frozen Punisher is going to push down the top lane. Not a whole lot that Cool Cats and Kittens can do. They're just now coming back onto the battlefield. It looks like Malthael is content with just the one camp, wants to help push this up in the mid lane. Greymane also rotating to the top. A big silence there onto the members of Artemis. trying to get a bit of extra poke damage and possibly this keep wall, but this Punisher already so low, and these silences aren't helping. The Punisher is down, Malthael is in the middle lane here. That could be trouble as the Lava Wave, now chasing out Evernight, manages to scoot on away, using that Fear the Reaper talent at level 1 to gain extra movement speed and get away from Ragnaros. Level 19, just around the corner here from Artemis. The lane's very much pushing in their favor. Greymane taking a solo camp on their side. Neutral camp once again stolen away by Artemis. If we take a look at those damage numbers once again, Tassadar still on top for Artemis, 44,000. Gaul definitely leading the way, 48,000 on the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. Cho'Gall in the bottom lane with Lucio. Those two will be mostly inseparable for the rest of the game. Looking for a possible rotation gank here is Artemis. They see Cho'Gall rotating to the mid, see that they've missed their chance, and are going to settle for this wave clear before continuing to shark around the map. Cool Cats and Kittens kind of locked in their base right now, really going to be relying on that Ragnaros to use Lava Wave to get them level 20. Still very much in the realm of possibility for Cool Cats and Kittens with this Ragnaros. Level 20, however, is here for Artemis. If they can find an extra pick here, they could definitely go core, as this mid keep is very weak right now. And they have full map control. Just moving with impunity on CCK's side of the map here. Gonna steal this Shaman camp while Ragnaros is in the bottom lane trying to catch up on that XP. Still a full level away from 20 is Cool Cats and Kittens. We've got a Shaman camp with one catapult pushing down this top keep. Looks like they will come up here for the defense. There is the Lava Wave to try to help clear out this wave. Cho'Gall catches two in the corner. Big silence there onto Dark Horse as Desperado trying to get some extra damage out. And Cool Cats and Kittens will force Artemis away from this keep. The Shrine in the middle lane will be another Arcane Punisher. Over halfway to level 20 now is Cool Cats and Kittens. Will they be able to pick this up? Artemis is still sharking around their side of the map trying to look for any opportunity for a gank. Cho'Gall caught out in the mid here. There is the mosh pit. Is that going to be enough for the Cho'Gall? There's the cursed bullet. There's the last rites. And there goes Cho'Gall. But a huge Alarak engage with a triple silence will not be enough as Alarak is going to go down here. Desperado could be next. Ragnaros falls. There goes Lucio. That's a full wipe for Artemis. And they are going to march down the mid lane, take out this keep, and go straight onto core. It's going to be a 2-0 domination for Artemis. Very, very strong here in this game, executing those combos. CCK brought it back. They found the kills they needed to get to level 16 and ultimately level 20. But a great catch in the mid lane means that we go 2-0 domination. GG. And there it is, Artemis with the second win there on Infernal Shrines. Tassadar bringing out that crazy poke damage, 49,000, 0 deaths. Cho'Gall looked very, very strong there in the late game. Did put up a great defense on that top keep. Things were looking good for the mid shrine, but ultimately Cho'Gall just caught a little bit too far away from the team. And that you saw the full effect of the Cursed Bullets Last Rites combo, and Artemis takes the 2-0 and will advance in the playoffs. All right, well, a 2-0 victory. Let me see if I can get a member of Artemis on the line here. go ahead and jump into a lobby and see if we can find ourselves an interview with the victorious Artemis. All right, we should have an interview for you here in just a moment. Believe we are going to get Honestly joining us. Hello.
Hello.
Well done. A 2-0 domination there. That's got to feel good in this very, very even series.
Yeah, we were. These guys were one of the teams that we played really, really close. We split the series with them during the season, and really surprised to get the domination here, but it feels great.
Very nicely done. Taking a look at the drafts in these two games, I was doing my pre-game research, and I noticed outside of a couple of key differences, there are a lot of shared heroes amongst the most played between your two teams. So when it came to the draft, did you feel like you got what you needed in those games, or were there a lot of compromises you had to make along the way?
No, we actually planned for it. We've noticed that we do share a lot of the same heroes, and that allowed us to kind of pick around their comfort picks as well. So it gave us a little more deny potential.
Well, it came out very nicely done. It was an interesting war over the Anduin there for sure. A lot of games played for both of your squads. Taking a look at the Tomb of the Spider Queen game, we saw you guys make some very aggressive boss calls there throughout the game. Is that a strategy that you're normally employing on that map?
Well, we noticed we had, besides the last one, obviously, we noticed we had a lot of small advantages, and just tried to take advantage of it as much as possible. At the time, I think boss was the only thing up on the map we could take.
It was definitely the only thing left to take. Both teams were still up. It was it was pretty interesting that you guys were able to burn it down as fast as you did, showing that extra Tyrande value there with the trait. Picking it up, I think you guys got it 3 times that game. It was very nicely done. Then ultimately, what were the comms like going into that 4v5 boss defense?
Well, they had enough for turn-in plus boss, so that could have potentially ended the game on us. We were lucky enough we grabbed the camp bottom real quick, and just the call was rotate up, let's go.
Well, it definitely worked out there. A huge death mosh value, getting the full wipe, controlling that point to the end, taking game number 1. Now, luck in game number 2. The Cho'Gall, not the first time they've played it, actually the 8th time that Cool Cats and Kittens has picked up the Cho'Gall. So I'm guessing that was something that you may have had a little bit of foresight on.
Yeah, we knew it was a definite possibility. So we were planning on going into those heroes if they did show Cho'Gall.
We definitely saw, I think the very last pick of the game there, we saw the full combo, the Cursed Bullets, Last Rites. Throughout the mid game, there were a couple of missed timings on that one, but still ultimately came out ahead in that one. Very nicely done. So, moving on to the next series, the other matchup was actually happening at exactly the same time as this one. So I'm not sure who is currently ahead here between Team Rainbow Strike Go and Choo Choo Boys. Is there one of those teams that you were, I would say, most looking forward to facing in the next round if you have the opportunity?
Well, Rainbow Strike Go beat us twice during the season, so it'd be nice to go into the I guess the regional final, and get some redemption.
Very good to hear. All right. Well, that about does it for me. Are there any shout-outs you'd like to make before we wrap things up here?
Shout outs to the team. Great progress throughout the year. Happy to make it to the playoffs and to the regional finals. Great games to Cool Cats. They played us well throughout the entire season. It's been a fun series to play. And thank you for the cast.
My pleasure entirely. It was a fun one for sure. And good luck in the playoffs going forward.
Thank you.